Hello, sports fans. As the U.S. government gets more embroiled in this Libyan civil war, I'm actually hearing some interesting commentaries on by the media on some of the weekend talk shows on TV. I find it rather encouraging that there is some interesting conversation covering some of the paradoxes, some of the anomalies, some of the inconsistencies as to what's going on and what we're really committing to. One of the interesting things was that if the anti-Gaddafi troops start moving, will they be bombed too? I mean, supposedly they're trying to create a ceasefire, but then if the anti-Gaddafi troops start marching on Gaddafi, will they be bombed? It seems that there's a lot of stuff going on here, and like I said, I'm no fan of Gaddafi, but I just want to have a little consistency here as to what we're doing. I want to basically understand why the media just this morning was saying, unlike George Bush, who didn't have a consensus of the world when they went into Iraq, yet I seem to recall George Bush had all kinds of people lined up, and essentially the same players who were dropping bombs today in Libya were dropping bombs in Iraq, or at least in the, I guess, the first Persian Gulf War. I know ultimately France and Germany didn't want to get involved. They were afraid of the Muslim population, I guess, having retribution. Spain got out as soon as they had one of their trains bombed, so that shows how many guts they had. But then again, they were neutral in World War II with Franco, I guess. So that says a lot about the country of Spain. As far as sticking to any type of cause. And of course, the United States really doesn't have too much stick-to-itivism anyhow. But no, there was some interesting thoughts on the news today as to what we're really accomplishing and where we're going with this. If we're saying we're not putting troops down, that would be something. I did hear, and I think I reported this, that on Facebook, that I heard that somebody in the United States, their submarine was mobilized and they left. And from what I understand with submarines, that typically what they've been used is to launch cruise missiles. And sure enough, the British admitted that they launched cruise missiles with their submarines. And I'm wondering if the United States did. We didn't say we did, but if we did, that confirms my thought that that's the reason why our this sub was recalled and sent over there, because they launched cruise missiles. Bill Clinton used these same cruise missiles to take the heat when he was having Monica Lewinsky blues, and he wanted to draw attention. In fact, I remember they blew up an aspirin factory over there during one of these mass launches and killed a couple innocent people. And there was nothing there as far as chemical warfare. But the good news is apparently we do have a lot more cruise missiles. At the time when Clinton was wasting them just to take the heat off of him on Monica Lewinsky, we really ran our numbers down. And in fact, a lot of those cruise missiles that we have, I understand, were nuclear tipped, which means that we had to take the nuclear weapons off and put conventional warheads on these things. So what gets me when we start blowing these cruise missiles using conventional warheads, what we're doing is we're actually dropping our pants in terms of if we ever have to use these cruise missiles as a deterrent against China or Russia, they're not going to be ready to fly with nuclear warheads, and that's essentially what has apparently kept the whole world safe, is this mutually assured destruction concept that we don't launch a full attack. But anyhow, I am encouraged to a certain extent that I'm not the only one questioning what the hell's going on here in Libya and where we're going with this. I feel for the and any people who yearns to be free, but I'm more concerned about what's not going to happen when the Chinese go into Taiwan. If you have a few minutes, look into the democracy in Taiwan and look what their fate is. They are going to be unified, if you know what I mean. They're going to be unified. It may be that China might turn into a democracy by the time that happens. I don't know. I wouldn't count on it, but if that is the case and they remain a democracy, because China at that point is a democracy, then maybe this is not as big of a situation that I'm concerned about. But currently, right now, we have a democracy of people who elect their president and everybody else. And, we're worried about Libya, where people are yearning to be free. But do we care about people who are already free and are under the specter of being annihilated? I mean, if China goes into Taiwan, what do you think they're going to do? Going with beanbag guns like we did down on the Mexican border? No. They're going to go in full, and at this point, we won't say a thing because we can't. We are beholden to China. There's not too much they could do that would actually force us to have a conflict with them at this point. So they might as well do it, because what are we going to do? What are we going to... We're broke. We'd have to borrow money from China to launch a war against China. Think about that. If that is not amazing, I don't know what is. I remember Khrushchev saying that they would sell the rope to our enemies to hang us. And we've definitely sold our souls regarding to our economy. And I tell you, this internet, this YouTube's, the information that's out there of what's going on, the whole concept of, the new reasons why Kennedy was knocked out, taken out, JFK was knocked out. I mean, you can't totally discount some of these concepts as to what's going on relating to today. So who knows, maybe they'll take me out. Who knows? But as Mubarak said when Saddam Hussein said, "You're a dead man," Mubarak said, "No one lives forever." And so I'll try to remember Mubarak as our ally when we needed him. And unfortunately, we sold him out. And we'll see what comes with Egypt. And I miss Sadat, Anwar Sadat, great guy. In fact, the guys who knocked off Sadat are the people who are probably going to end up taking over Egypt. So I hope everybody's happy. Freedom isn't free. Bye-bye.